Sheep. What am I?
What?
I'm trying. Like the like pacing of it is of some cheer that I used to do in some sport.
Shot.
No, because we weren't doing that as sport. It could have been, I guess, like basketball. I think it was. The only thing that I'm coming up with is with one of my coach's names, and I don't know why we would have been cheering for him. So I don't think that's right, but I don't know. My super fun high school, because we weren't full of ourselves at all, would at like football games and stuff would just chant like ACT, because we're like, ooh, we're smarter than you. Well, welcome back to Sheep June on the Pawlywood Pawdcast with 2 paws.
Heck yeah.
It's still June. There's still sheep. We added some new sheep things today. Mm-hmm. We have matching sheep mugs. Oh, I'm gonna dump that on myself.
I already spilled mine on my chair.
Oh, that's a nice sound for you.
This one has like a weird texture to it. Like
this one does too. Where I think it's like kind of like the outer layer's kind of coming off. It told me it was dishwasher safe, but it's more the outer.
Like was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I like that it's like Warhol sheep.
Yeah. It's from New Zealand, apparently.
Just like this movie. Whoa. Good segue.
Probably a good segue. I mean, I was going to introduce this little guy. What's his name?
Reggie. Anyway, welcome back to Sheep June.
It's Sheep June.
We've got 3 weeks of sheep movies because we decided this pretty close to June, so there weren't time for 4. So this is our middle movie.
Yes.
Week 2 of Sheep June. It's called Black Sheep. I had not heard of this movie. No. I googled sheep movies, and this came up.
Yep.
A gem, a diamond in the rough.
And there were no black sheep in it.
No.
I was wondering why they called it that.
I think just because it's like... I mean, I guess there's the nursery rhyme. And I guess, like, the black sheep of the family is, like, a saying for, like, someone who, like, is different from the rest of the family.
Yeah, I saw when I was looking up for yay or nay, I couldn't figure out a way to phrase it, so this isn't one, I'm not spoiling it, that they asked the director, like, who's the titular black sheep? And he's like, it's no one. That's just what it's called.
Incredible titling.
Or, it could have been, I don't remember any, Henry? Was that the main one? The one who was afraid of sheep?
I thought it was just, like, the mutant sheep.
They were like, they were like, maybe it's Henry because, like, he's scared of sheep and his family does sheep things. Or it's Angus because the rest of his family is, like, nice sheep people. And he's, like, experiment on the sheep.
It could be either, yeah. Wow, a puzzle box title.
Yep.
Exciting. Cryptic.
Yes.
Yeah. Outfits first?
Outfits, yeah. I feel like yours is better today.
Oh, thank you.
You got a nice hat. I didn't really know what I was going to do. I already wore my one sheep shirt, so I decided I'd be a white sheep with, like, a kind of fluffy white dress. It also would be, like, what you could wear if you were going to go to the fields and be with the sheep. It's, like, a nice kind of... I feel like it's a good frolic through the meadow dress.
Just, like, yeah, that was totally the vibe of this movie.
Yeah, but if I went to this farm before the sheep turned people, or I guess after when they're not scared anymore, and you just, like, skipped through the sheep fields with them.
Yeah, we're making some big leaps with this one.
Yeah.
I forgot that I had sheep stuff other than my sheep beret. I have this, like, ram-themed headband. It's like one of those headbands that you just put on while you're washing your face.
Oh, I didn't even notice it has the little ears, too.
It does!
They're kind of behind the little horns.
But it's just, like, a nice face-washing headband that I forgot I had. And I was planning for the next episode while, like, getting ready for bed and had this on and walked past my mirror and was like, oh, I'm wearing a sheep thing right now. So, yeah, and then I'm wearing black because black sheep, so.
The horns remind me of croissants.
Yeah.
If you put them together. I have a thing of those,
I see what you
those crescent rolls in my fridge that
those
I gotta make at some point.
They're so, the Pillsbury baked goods.
I really want to make them, but then I'm like, am I gonna sit here and eat rolls? And, like, I absolutely am, but should I?
That's my thing with baking, is I love to bake, but, like, I I miss living with roommates who would, like, eat my baked goods. My current roommates, I feel like, are too healthy for that.
I make cinnamon rolls a bunch.
But yeah, I would, like, I only bake when I know I'm going to see people in the next few days, so I can just, like, unload, like, a full loaf of banana bread on my friends. Because, like, I'll have a craving and want one piece of banana bread, but, like, it'll go stale before I can eat all of it.
Yeah, bread doesn't really save as long. I feel like whenever I get eggs, I'm like, I gotta use all the eggs that I can, because I don't eat just, like,
I eat so many eggs.
So then I'm like, I'll make waffles, and I'll make cake, and I'll make brownies, and I'll do all the things. Because now that I can hold an egg, the world is opened up.
Brownies.
For context, I still don't like them. Eggs just... Hard-boiled egg is fine. But when you have a raw egg, and it kind of can jiggle... I hate it. But now I can crack an egg, and it's okay. So, like, big victories here. I keep getting, my Snapchat memories. I keep getting, taken a picture of something I found, I think when I was cleaning up my room probably last summer, of a note from my kindergarten teacher that was like, "Congratulations, Sydney opened her carton of milk for the first time on her own today." And that feels very similar. Like, Sydney cracked an egg for the first time. Woo. But that was a big deal in kindergarten. I had so much trouble with
we never had to open a carton.
We would you could order chocolate milk or regular milk, and I would get chocolate milk.
Oh, I thought you meant this was like an in-class, like, home ec task.
No. It was just like for lunch.
Okay.
And then you'd go get the milk.
Yeah.
Somebody would be the milk person every day. And then you'd get your milk, and then you'd have to open it. And I could not do it for a while. But when I did, it was apparently a big deal.
Amazing.
Yeah. I feel like that was one of the things I probably cried over as a child. I can't get the milk open. Yeah. Well, I don't know how to segue that into Black Sheep. He cried about the sheep.
Produced milk on the farm. This movie's on the farm.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. There we go. It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Just gotta find those connections.
Yeah. Well, I guess, should we recap?
I guess so, yeah. Let's get right into it. Because I'm guessing no one has seen this movie, so...
You can find it on a lot of places.
Oh, it's everywhere.
It was free on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime through, like, Freevee.
Freevee.
It's on Tubi, I think.
But if you watch it with Freevee, it's fun because they give you commercials mid-sentence, and they're way louder than the...
Always. It's my favorite thing.
It's always, like, halfway through a word. And then the one we kept getting was a cat.
Yeah.
Cat food, like, amusement park.
Oh, Friskies, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like, Frisky World.
And then back to sheep gore.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can watch it. It was a lot of fun. How did it start?
So it starts with our main character, Henry, as a kid.
Yeah.
And we see he's, like, growing up on the farm, I guess. And then his brother is, like, a psychopath, I guess. Because we see him, like, killing a sheep with an axe.
Yeah.
And then we see the brother, Angus, pulling a prank on Henry where he, like, hides under, like, a bloody sheep carcass and, like, runs at him in the dark. Which apparently traumatizes him enough that he's, like, in therapy 15 years later for... What did they call it? What was the phobia? Started with an O.
Oh, it was like...
It's the root word for sheep.
Ovophobia.
That would be fear of eggs, probably, which is what you have. But it was similar.
It's O.
Like that.
It's like O. I know there's an O and a V and an I, and there's like another letter or two.
Yeah,
Ornithophobia?
Maybe.
Ornithophobia? No.
But yeah, he's like in therapy because he has like sheep phobia.
Yeah.
15 years later.
Which, like, I guess would be really hard if you lived on a sheep farm.
Yeah. I don't know how he gets anything done, but his brother, like, owns the farm, right?
Yes, because their dad...
He's, like, a businessman now.
Yeah, so then it cuts to, like, 15 years later, and Henry's in a taxi in the middle of, like, 300 sheep in the middle of the road, and he's, like, freaking out because the taxi guy wants to open a window, and he's like, they're gonna get me.
I like that is the poster image, too, because that's not even, like, watching it and, like, looking back now, that's not after anything has happened to the sheep. Like, but it's just regular sheep outside.
They have the other people it's like not him and the taxi driver at least. It's like him and the
Oh, yeah, that's true.
and the girl and the
True.
friend and the dog, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
But still.
So yeah, the vegetarians show up.
Yeah.
There's like these two like stereotypical like hippie vegetarians.
They just keep calling them the greenies, don't
they?
they?
And they're gonna like storm. So the farm, I guess, also has a branch of like animal research.
Yeah,
right?
It seems like the brother has taken the approach of like industry over sheep rights.
Yeah.
And he's like experimenting on the sheep. Mm-hmm. So he has a little lab on the land. And so they're like, we've got to save them.
Yeah, so they run down and they steal like a jar from this like
it's a really
contaminated substance bin.
I'm not really sure what their goal was.
No, they wanted to bring it back as evidence of the testing.
Oh, that makes more sense.
But it was still not well thought out.
I thought they were trying to like take like in the moment take them down, and I was like, this guy is just
thought they were gonna like
screaming, and everyone sees him. And he took one container.
I mean, it still didn't make sense of every time he would, like, start running away, he would yell so loudly that everyone knew where he was going. But he takes, like, a jar that has, like, a sheep embryo stuffed into it in, like, amniotic fluid.
And they run into the woods.
And it's, what's his name? Grant and the girl. Experience.
Which I was really hoping at some point they'd be like, where did that name come from? And she would explain that she picked it because it seems like she did.
No, of course. Like, her real name is, like, Bethany or something.
But no, that was just it. Yeah. It was never, like, explained.
It just sort of makes sense.
It just kind of worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they run through the woods. They're, like, hiding behind a tree as the most, like, scientist-looking scientist you've ever seen are chasing them. And they yell, they'll never catch us, they're meat eaters.
Yeah. I'm like, do I have super speed powers as a vegetarian? Because I haven't activated those yet.
Yeah, so they're running, and then Grant's like, are we dating? And she's like, I don't know. And then he just runs away. Yeah. And he trips and falls and, like, splatters the sheep.
Mm-hmm. The jar.
The sheep jar.
The embryo jar.
Yeah.
Fetus jar. And lo and behold, the best creature effects you've ever seen. It's like a hand puppet.
Yeah, it's a little...
But, like, I don't know. It was, I think, by the VFX house that did, like, Lord of the Rings or something, right?
That's what, I think it was, like, through... like.
But it's, like, a really low-budget, like, B-movie version of that. Mm-hmm. So some of the effects were, like, really good, and some of them were like that, where, like, it looks like the practicals from, like, an old John Carpenter movie, but, like, John Carpenter was doing that in, like, the 70s. Or 80s, so like he sort of had like they were good 2006,
for them. I think.
Yeah, so they kind of I don't know. It was like it's fun to see practical effects, but they were so B movie. Mm-hmm. And it's just like a screaming sheep fetus like puppet,
and it bites onto his ear and pulls it like a stringy cheese pizza.
Like, yeah,
it's like dangling.
Oh, it's so funny.
And he's like slamming it into a tree. And I think he finally like gets it off of him, and so then it's just like.
It crawls into the field and has an encounter with like a real sheep, and I was just imagining like the sheep actor having to interact with this puppet because it was probably like, what is going on? I'm surrounded by cameras and there's this little puppet thing wriggling around in front of me.
And that bites a sheep's face.
Yeah. Oh, and we also had seen Henry go to like his mom's house, which is full of like ram heads, like the way people do like hunting trophies of deer, but it's all like rams like mounted to the wall, and then she like tries to.
I don't think it was his mom because they kept calling. I think she's just like the old lady who lives at his house. Okay.
She's like, you're back.
Because I don't think it's because they kept calling her like Mrs. Mac.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, but yeah, she like puts a shotgun to his back.
Do you think they called her that like because of Old MacDonald?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah. But yeah, so the fetus sheep bites the real sheep, and meanwhile Grant is in the woods, like turning into a sheep man. So he catches a rabbit in his hands and holds it up, and he just like takes a bite.
So terrible. Yeah, the rabbit. That was a really good animal actor. It looked really scared.
What?
And then he just ate it, and that also was really. That was
stringy. A pretty good effect.
All of the flesh was very gooey.
Yeah, so stringy. It's like you bite an intestine and it just does like a mozzarella cheese pull. But his eyes are like turning colors and his teeth are weird and it's like, oh my god.
His face turns kind of like
becoming a sheep.
Gray.
Yeah.
He
looks like a zombie. This looks like a zombie movie. But
yeah.
It's not. So the group Experience escapes and like leaves him behind, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And meets our other heroes.
It meets Henry and
his friend Tucker.
Tucker's just like, I feel like he was like an old childhood friend, but I don't really remember him from the beginning. He probably was there. And then they're like driving, and there's a sheep in the middle of the road, and Tucker's like, "You're a farm boy, go deal with the sheeps." And he's like, "I have a phone call." And we thought he was gonna fake a phone call. No, he tried to call someone, and nobody answered.
Like he's gonna like call for help and be like, "There's a sheep
in the road
in front of me."
And
on
then
the farmland.
Tucker like drags the sheep off the road, and it was
it
really good because it was just
so cute. I was trying to figure out if I looked back up and I was like, is it dead? But no,
it was just hanging out
in his arms.
Have you seen that video of the cat that they do the little dance with?
No.
What is it? It's like Papa's party. And they go, "P for Papa's." It's a Papa's party, and it's just like,
who's Papa?
The cat, I think.
Oh.
But it's like a couple. I think the like description with it was like, I'm at my brother's house, and they were like, "I have to show you what the cat can do." And it's like the brother and his wife are like dancing with the cat, and they pick up the cat's arms, and it's very much that like right below the shoulders. The cat's like, "It's a Papa's party." It's like,
that's so cute.
It's so. Next time I see it, I'll send it to you because it's really cute. It's just like a dumb little orange cat, and they're like, everyone's having a cute time.
I love an orange cat.
But that's kind of what it reminded me. I feel like lots of animals do that. That's what one of my dogs does sometimes when you try to move her, is she's like, "My arms cannot move. You're never gonna bend them again." And then she's just like very straight legged. And sometimes when she'll like lie on her side, it'll be like, it's like, "Can you bend your arms?" It looks so weird right now. So I don't know. Maybe that's just like a thing animals do.
Maybe.
But that's what the sheep was doing.
Is this when they met Experience?
Yeah,
she was like, "What are you doing to that sheep?"
I don't know where she popped out of, because somehow she got their gun.
Yeah, and then they were like in the woods, but they weren't in the woods.
They were like, "Put your hands up." And I thought he was going to put the sheep's hands up. Maybe she just like chases them to the woods. Well, I feel like they chase her. Maybe she runs away with their gun, and they're like, "Give us our gun back," and they chase her.
And then she can't fire it.
And then so
she gives it back.
Tucker's like trying to explain how to like do the safety. And he's like, "Here, let me show you." He does it.
She just hands it back to him.
So then they go back to the car, and they go to the house.
But oh my god, the sheep have been cooking.
The
kitchen is a disaster. There's broken plates everywhere.
The sheep haven't been cooking.
No, but I like to think
that they have.
Could have been.
But Experience walks in there and goes, like, "Oh my god," like, and everyone's like, "What?" And she's like, "The feng shui is so off in here."
Meanwhile, there's like blood everywhere.
Yeah. But then a sheep appears and is really scary, and Henry's really scared because sheep, and they run and hide in a room, and they find a dead guy.
Yeah, whose house was this? That there was just like a guy.
They said his name was Mike, but I don't know who Mike was.
Was this Mike's house?
I think so.
Why did they go in?
Because they were looking for Mike, maybe? Maybe they wanted to use Mike's phone.
Oh.
I'm not sure. I
didn't like realize how much of this didn't make sense while I was watching it.
Yeah, but Mike is like shredded to bits in the corner of the bedroom, and they have like locked the door, and then the sheep bursts through, Shining style.
And they keep trying to like shove it out, and it keeps like running back in.
Yeah.
Like the big sheep.
I think I called it Jack Nickel sheep.
Yeah.
Which isn't great.
That's pretty great.
So they shoot it.
There's a great moment where Henry is like telling them that he has a sheep phobia. And they're like, "What? What is that about?" And he's like, "The irrational fear that this will happen." Yeah. And that was pretty good. There's some like unironically pretty good jokes.
Yeah, like that's a good point.
Yeah. He was right. He was right. So they escape and they get in the truck, but then like there's a sheep in the truck, right?
Yeah, I think they try to run out and there's lots. Oh, they try to leave and Tucker goes and gets the truck ready and he's like, deal with Henry, and Experience is like, you're a tree, ground yourself.
And they get through the field of sheep.
And she's just calling him a tree. And then they go to the car. And that's when the sheep jumps in the front and tries to, like, eat him.
Yeah, the sheep keeps, like, biting everyone. It bites Tucker's leg, like, through his boot.
Yeah.
And they are driving while all of this is happening, like, through rural New Zealand. And they somehow, like, they all manage to get into the back of the truck with the sheepdog who's doing nothing this whole time. And someone goes, wait, who's driving? And
it's the sheep driving.
So
this
funny.
is the second movie we've done that had an animal driving a car. Yeah. Groundhog Day did, too.
Well, so did
Shaun the Sheep, kind of.
Did any animals drive the car in...
Oh, Shaggy Dog.
Shaggy Dog or Underdog? Shaggy Dog. Did the Snog drive the car, or it was just in the car?
Yes, because they crashed the car.
Yeah. Wow, good trend.
It's a good trend. And so then they're like, "Who's driving?" It's the sheep, and the sheep is gonna run them off a cliff.
Yeah.
And so they all jump out.
Where did they end up? Because the next note I have, aside from A+ sheep noises, says sheep bites ass, flies. I think they encounter some of the scientists at this point, right?
Yeah.
2 of the scientists. And one of the sheep,
that's when some of the scientists come out, and there's, like, 2 sheep just hanging out. The way that this was shot was really fun, of, like, we get a medium shot, and it's just, like, literal sheep.
Yeah.
And then anytime it's close up, it's not. It's, like, a fake sheep. But
or like a real sheep with like VFX and like blood all over it. But
so
whenever it's like a wide shot of like the herd of sheep, it's just like unthreatening.
He's like, "What are you sheep doing there?" And then that's when one comes up behind him and bites him.
And it like bites him on the ass, and then we just see a shot of it like flying across the lens, which is so funny.
And takes him out.
And then Grant comes back, and Grant bites the scientist.
Yeah, doesn't Grant bite the brother? Isn't that what? Or is he also bite a scientist?
Is that who bit the brother? I don't know.
Well, because
I wrote vegan bites scientist.
Grant is just like wandering around in the fields, and the brother is driving by and is like, "Get off my land, dude!" And he just kind of like stares at him and then bites his hand and runs away.
Yeah, as the scientist is like arguing in favor of genetic engineering, he's like, "Sheep are the way they are because we made them." So it has like a Jurassic Park edge to it. And Grant bites him. And then we see, meanwhile, Tucker takes off his shoe and his foot is like a full sheep foot, which I was like not ready for. Wild. I wasn't ready for like how much of a B movie this was, and it was so good.
But yeah, he's turning into a sheep. And then at some point they get to the lab and they're like, I think they run from a bunch of sheep and they go to hide in the lab. And they're like, "Dog, run away, save yourself." Which they never once think to have this dog.
No, it's literally a sheepdog that they carry around with it, and they never use it to herd sheep.
They're like, "Just save yourself, dog."
Like, I kind of get it. Like, the dog's not going to fend off, like, 300 murderous sheep, but the fact that it works later.
They don't even try.
Like, yeah. Why are you bringing him into danger in the first place?
So they hide in there, and then they see, like, a skin.
They've, like, midsummered it.
It's like open and bleeding.
It's flayed, but like its heart is beating. It's literally like Ari Aster watched this and was like, do that to a person. But yeah, it like shrieks and screeches at them.
And then the scientist woman and another not head scientist are there, and they're like,
something is wrong. Like, look at Tucker's foot, and they're like, oh.
And then they like kidnap Tucker and they're like, "Let us experiment on him."
This is what we wanted.
They're literally like, "This is exactly what we wanted. We wanted sheeple."
Cell transfer is happening faster than we thought.
It's like he's turning into a sheep. And then they have that really wild shot of Tucker shaking his head.
Oh my God.
And like every other frame is a different sheep monster head.
So insane.
Really awful.
But yeah, this is probably where I was like, something is wrong with the plot here, because like the virus or the testing or whatever, it's causing the regular sheep to become violent, but it's also causing human beings to turn into violent sheep. And I'm like, both of those are like their own film plot. Why are we doing both? It was like kind of confusing. Like, which one is... Yeah, I don't know. It was strange. Yeah. Exciting, though.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
But I don't really remember. What happens next?
Experience and, what's his name? Henry are, like, running away.
Yeah.
And they fall into... They're being, like, cornered by the sheep, and they fall into the pit. Guts.
The gut pit.
The sheep guts. And then Experience lights an aromatherapy candle for, like, good vibes. Which is great.
Yeah, and then they go through the gut tunnels.
But the sheep start, like, chasing them.
Yeah, and
that's... Because they can jump.
And that's when there's, like, a chase scene through the tunnels with the sheep. And that's when I said hereditary, because...
They light it on fire.
Because they threw the candle at the sheep and it lit on fire.
Yeah, they're like trapped in an underground tunnel and they light the tunnel on fire.
And it burned for a moment.
Yeah, they don't
that
die.
Toni Collette shot where she's on fire. They're just watching it. Yeah. But then they somehow get out of the tunnel.
There's like a little romantic moment where she's like, "You're Aura." It's like you're literally surrounded by wet animal guts.
Yeah.
Like, get out.
Is that where they somehow get into the sheep place where Grant is a sheep man?
I think so, yeah. But not before we see, we cut away to a shot of, what's his name? Angus, the brother, in the house, and he has just been bit, and he goes, "That little bastard." And he goes, "Oh no!" He's starting to turn into a sheep. But yeah, so we go back and see Grant has gone, like, we hear the sound of, like, shearing.
Yeah.
And then in, like, the barn, it's Grant, who's become, like, a 7-foot-tall, like, sheep-man hybrid.
Did we find out if he was, like... Was he killing a sheep to eat?
I couldn't see anything. I thought he was, like, giving himself a haircut.
It was fun that when he turned into a sheep man, he had the exact same, like, scraggly goatee.
Yeah. But yeah, so they encounter him and they, like, kind of fight him, and it's so funny because he's, like, has, like, big, like, sheep arms, and he, like, swats and, like, punches them.
Yeah.
And they manage to escape because Experience is like, "Grant, it's me, Experience," and then he isn't listening, but she's like, "You have blood on you. Have you been eating meat? Was it even organic?" And he's like, and he has a brief moment of, like, conscience kicking in. Just enough time for them to get out the door. And then the scientist... Why does she end up in the woods?
I don't really
Everyone
remember.
was just always ending up in the woods.
She just, like, went into the woods, and she's in her scientist pantsuit, and...
Yeah, it's like a Hillary Clinton pantsuit and, like, heeled boots. Like, heels.
And the sheep come after her.
That's the scientist outfit, sure.
And they get her.
Yeah. And then there's been this event being planned that I guess it's, like, in Jurassic World, too, when they're gonna, like, unveil the new dinosaur to, like, the auction.
I think it's still,
because, like, I could never figure out what it was.
I feel like it was probably... It was some sort of reveal, I feel like, for, like, maybe investors or, like, sheep farmer.
Yeah. Because, yeah, there's this, like, event where there's, like, a bunch of plastic chairs and, like, a speech being planned, and they have people coming in. He practiced it earlier to a bunch of empty chairs, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. But it just reminded me of my sister's high school graduation, where it was the football field of empty chairs when they just canceled the graduation. I have the picture of my sister sitting in a field of empty chairs, just going... It's a really fun picture. But yeah, everyone's in the woods. But meanwhile, yeah, the event is, like, it's been set up. It's, like, midway through, and Grant is, like, unveiling his, like, creation, and it's, like, the most beautiful sheep. Brother, right? Yeah, Angus. I keep wanting to call him Grant. Yeah, Angus is unveiling, like, the most beautiful, like, fluffy, and he's like, washed sheep you've ever seen. This is the old field sheep. Isn't that what their name is? Yeah. This is our sheep. Prized design. And it's just, like, a sheep that got a haircut in a bath. Yeah, and it just keeps buying. Yeah. But everyone's like, "Whoa, look at that. That's a pretty good sheep. It's a really nice sheep. That sheep." And then, like, it cuts around to different people hearing buying in the distance. There's, like, rumbling, like, stampede rumbling, and we were like, "Oh boy, what's coming?"
And then they cut really wide. It's a stampede.
Like 500 sheep just running straight at the event, toppling over chairs.
Just they attack everyone. It was so good. That was the best. That was a really fun
That
scene.
was so good. And yeah, again, like in the wide shot, it's all just like regular sheep.
Yeah.
Like, and they're so cute, and they're just like jogging at you. And then it cuts to close up, and it's like,
and then they just like bite someone's head off.
Yeah, they really saved all the best gore and practical effects for that sequence.
They like bit off someone's leg.
Yeah, biting off people's face, and you can like see their teeth underneath where their lips are like gone.
That
Someone like threw his own severed leg at the sheep.
In the facts, I'm guessing it was that guy that they said they had a real amputee being in it, and I bet it was that guy who lost his leg and then threw a fake leg at the sheep.
That's pretty good. Yeah, there were some pretty great moments there. Yeah. Someone's like trying to fend off the sheep with a plastic chair. There was the religious guy who was like thought this was the Rapture or something.
I think so.
I don't know. He was like he had a Bible on hand that he was like
I think he was reading some of the like sheep Bible quotes.
Yeah. And he was like, I'm ready.
Come
for me.
Yeah.
Eat me. And they did. But yeah, absolute carnage, mayhem.
And then Mrs. Mac or whatever shows up and is
as like Experience and what's his name are just watching. Like,
yeah, they're just there.
Yikes.
And then the lady, like, she picks him up and she's genuinely having the time of her life with this.
She's loving it.
She's laughing so much. She thinks it's so funny. She's like driving around. But they go back to the house, right? I think.
Yeah, and now Angus has a sheep hand. He realizes this. Yes. He's like in the stampede. But none of the sheep are attacking Angus, notably. Mm-hmm. And then they go to the house and Grant appears back at the house and he's still a sheep man. He wasn't like, as strong as ever. But they keep like trying to throw stuff at him and nothing is warding him off until Henry or Tucker like breaks a bottle of like mint extract and throws it at him, and like the Wicked Witch of the West with water, he like sizzles like holy water to a demon. Yeah, and it's never explained why mint.
No, and it's that only that one time.
Sheep monsters. Yeah, he just like took a wild guess and it like burned him.
Yeah,
it was. I thought he was gonna like hit him with the shattered glass of the bottle, which would make sense, but no, he just like threw mint water on him and it was like. Like, okay,
and then Experience
stabs him with like a little stick,
and she's like acupuncture.
Yeah, he like collapses on the ground. That works. But Henry is like, I have to go. Where does he have to go that he gets in disguise? Is he? Oh, he's going to find Angus, right?
That was first. He has the confrontation with his brother, where his brother's like, "The sheep is my blood." The sheep come to attack. All the sheep are there again, and they're like, "We have to get." They can't get into the office, and then he finally breaks in, and that's where Angus is with his sheep claw, and he's like,
I don't even know how to explain what happens next.
He's like, you can't kill this sheep. It's the pretty one. Sheep. He's like, you can't kill this sheep because it's family. It's one of us. That's what he says. And then Henry's like, what? And he's like, it's made from my DNA.
More specifically.
More of a sperm sample.
So we're like, this sheep is his biological son? And it's not even like one of the sheep men hybrids. It's literally just a sheep. Full sheep. But he somehow is like biologically fathered.
Somehow it's sheep. Dad. And
I was so confused.
Yeah.
And Henry's like, what the fuck? Like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know.
I'm surprised this didn't go more of a like cloning route, because isn't that one of the first animals they cloned was the sheep?
Dolly.
So like it feels like that would have been
made more sense.
Instead of just like, what if it was man and sheep? And that
and Henry was like, this is a weird take on animal husbandry.
Yeah. And then somehow, I don't know, I think that's when Angus just walks out because he's part of the sheep.
Yeah.
And he just wanders off to go get his plane because he has a plane. But he leads his sheep son out to the sheep son. And none of the violent sheep attack him. And then
is their dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point Henry is like, I have to go somewhere to do something. I don't know. He's like, I'll put on a disguise, and they have these big fluffy like seat covers in the car, and he just puts one over himself and like walks and like crawls across the field.
Oh, but he learned he was bit before that, right? Because they're like, how are we gonna get past all these sheeps that are surrounding the house? And he goes, our experience goes, you're a tree to calm down. He goes, no, I'm a sheep. And then the lady goes, no, you're a man. Your father will be proud of you.
So good.
And then, he puts on his sheep outfit and he crawls across.
Around. One of the sheep tries to him. And he
and then almost blows his cover.
Yeah.
But then he's like, I am a sheep. I've been bitten by them. So he just gets up and walks away.
Yeah. And they ignore him, I guess, because he's one of them. Angus at this point is turning into, he goes like full sheep man, like
sheep
Grant.
Man, yes.
Yeah. Because he was like mid-stage.
All the people from the like presentation too are sheeple, and they're out in the fields eating people.
And they all look completely different.
Yes.
But they're all like with the regular sheep, like eating people. And it's like we were saying each sheep was like, it was done by its own person. Like no one coordinated on like what the makeup was going to look like, because each one is unique, I guess, like all people, but it just felt very incoherent and disparate. But finally, someone is like, oh, we have a sheepdog here. Maybe we should try that. And he uses it to, like, herd Angus.
Into the plane's propeller blades.
And the propeller, like, shreds his back. But he's fine.
Yeah.
He does not die.
And that's when Tucker... Right, that's when Tucker shows up and like shoots
Tucker
some
comes
of the
by
antidotes.
and he has like a camelback, like water backpack type thing. It's like one of those like sports hats where like it has like a keg and you can like press the button and shoot the stuff. It's like that, but it has like the antidote liquid, and he like squirts it into Angus's mouth and then squirts some into Henry's mouth.
Mm-hmm. But so then they're both into people now. Not sheeple.
Yeah. But Angus is struggling. He's
Angus
like
is like shredded.
Yeah.
Not in like the he's like muscular way.
He's looking
and like
rough.
the skin has been ripped from his body and he's missing a chunk of his head and shoulder.
Yeah, he's just like bleeding, but he's still fine. Like,
and he just kind of like walks
like...
up behind them because all of the sheep are have cornered them somehow, and Angus is like, my children.
He goes,
I don't know
my
babies. And then he just kind of like offers himself to the sheep.
Yeah, he's like, I'm back.
And they eat him.
They bite his dick off first, which is great. And then they just different sheep keep biting different parts of him until he's like one.
And then
fed to the sheep.
During this whole scene, not really sure when this started or why, all the sheep are farting a lot, and.
Yeah, it's just like a weird red herring that turns out to not be a red herring.
And they all are like, oh man,
ew.
this smells bad. And then Henry remembers the lighter in his pocket that Experience gave him, I think, from the candle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he goes, they go methane, and then they light it and he tosses it at the sheep, and it's right on one of the sheep's butts, and they all explode.
It ignites the farts. And the whole barn explodes.
There's a big explosion.
One of the best ideas for a finale I've ever seen.
Absolutely wild. That's what I had seen when I was looking up yay or nays, where it was like, I saw that people were turning into sheep people, because I think that was before we had gotten to like the full. They kept calling them were-sheeps.
Did they?
Online.
That makes sense.
And then they were calling the sheeps zombie sheep. And I couldn't really figure out where they got it. Like, were-sheep, okay, sure, but why are they zombie sheep?
I mean, I guess they were acting like zombies.
Yeah, but I feel like zombies turn cannibalistic. So, but they were eating people.
I guess that's true.
So I don't know. Maybe it's
how
just
else
like
would you describe them?
It's just like a fun little play on how people eat sheep. Maybe that's what they were trying to do.
Maybe, yeah.
But where were we at? Oh yeah.
This is, I mean, pretty much the end. But
I had seen
Grant
that
is cured.
they were gonna light up the sheep's farts and explode them all.
Yeah. But yeah, so they cure Grant too. They give him the antidote, and he's like a human vegan again. He goes, I ate a rabbit.
Yeah.
And he's like completely distraught. Not by anything else, but by
just by that.
The fact that he ate a raw live rabbit.
He's really struggling. He's like stabbed in the neck, but more upset about that. And then he gets herded off into the pen of other people that have been turned back into people.
He had turned into like a full like regular sheep.
Yeah.
But then he's
maybe that's because if they were were sheep. Maybe because it's daytime. Maybe you turn into a sheep.
This is like
a sheep monster under the moon.
Oh my god. Insane. But yeah, they're like huddling. All of the other sheeple that they turned back into people are like huddling in the sheep pen as they're like discussing plans to like, how do we keep the farm alive?
And they're just gonna like do it in the organic, nice way, I guess.
Just like a normal farm.
Just without a normal farm that isn't
sheep testing.
Isn't trying to make human sheep.
But then, twist ending.
It cuts to the dog just hanging out in the field. And it gets really close and the dog goes, bah. Then it ends.
Cut to black. So good.
That was a really good ending. Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty great.
It was exhilarating. I loved it. It was so like, I mean, if you're looking for like a good like schlocky like B-movie horror comedy, this definitely, it hit the spot for sure.
This is our first like horror movie on here.
Yeah, I think so. And not a lot of animal horror movies. We'll have to do like Cujo in like October.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not really, it's hard to say how much of it is taking itself seriously because it is a horror comedy.
Well, I think it knows it's not serious, but it's taking itself very seriously for like the comedic effect, I feel like.
But then, and there are jokes that are jokes on purpose that are pretty funny.
Yeah. But I feel like it's not like Shaun of the Dead, which is a similar kind of zombie horror comedy vibe of like, I feel like there's like jokes where like the characters kind of know it's a joke, but I feel like in this there were
one or two, but not as much. But yeah, the practical effects were always fun, whether they were good or bad. I love just watching a bunch of sheep running around. It's the perfect Sheep June movie.
It was a really good Sheep June movie. There were so many good sheep.
I'm glad we found it in the depths of Google.
Yes. Yeah, I guess we move on to other segments.
I guess so.
Top dog. Any favorite quotes or moments?
Oh, yeah. I wrote some quotes down.
I also wrote down.
There were a lot of them.
I feel like I said a lot of them already.
I wrote down, it's not about the sheep. It's about other issues I need to resolve. Which was why, when he's talking about, like, why he's in therapy for his sheep phobia. Yeah, they'll never catch us. They're meat eaters.
Yeah, I wrote that one down, too.
Okay, farm boy, let's see your stuff. When they were, like, encountering the sheep in the road.
Yeah.
There was, let's see, my handwriting's so hard to read.
I wrote oh my god, the feng shui in this room is awful. But I wrote, oh my dog. Which wasn't right, but I don't know where, I guess I can't write. And then I wrote I'm not a tree, I'm a sheep. No, you're a man. Yeah, from like favorite moments, the stringy sheep on the stringy ear was really interesting.
Yeah.
I liked when they dragged the sheep, of course. I liked, what is that? Oh, when they were driving with the sheep and he kept hitting it into the horn.
Yeah. All the times when the sheep would like fly across the screen was really good. I liked when they lit a candle in a den full of guts.
Yeah.
For the hormone whatever
hormone candle or something.
Yeah.
I liked the sheep sun reveal because I still don't understand what was going on.
Crazy.
Yeah, the whole sheep attack at the presentation was really great. What do we think of the performances? Who had some good animal performances? I mean, I thought the bunny sphere was really authentic. I thought the dog was doing what it was written to do and doing a good job, but why didn't they use the dog more? But he was a good actor.
I liked seeing all the little sheep just running around happy.
Yeah, I thought the clean sheep did a pretty good job. The pretty sheep.
Yeah. In terms of the actual actors, everyone did like just sort of B-movie like what you expect. There weren't everyone was like solid. There were no like crazy standouts or anything. Like
it was just kind of Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we think of the graphics and special effects?
So fun.
So fun.
Not necessarily realistic, but like realistic in the way that like practicals are realistic, where like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look as real as CG, but it has more texture to it.
Yeah.
You know, like tactile, like yeah. So they were fun.
The hand puppet sheep.
That one was rough, but
really funny.
A lot of like the gore was pretty solid.
Yeah.
The cheese pulls.
The cheese. Okay, what was the top dog? I said just the premise in general.
Okay, yeah.
The sheep.
You're right.
The sheep zombies and the like practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I
really.
agree with that.
Because if they hadn't, if they were even worse, that would be difficult. Or if they were like
too good,
really CG,
mm-hmm.
it wouldn't be what it was.
Yeah. It's a very 2000s movie, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
2000s New Zealand.
Okay, perspective. I don't really know what to say about this time.
Yeah.
The only thing I wrote down
we don't do enough movies that we've seen as a kid.
Was sheer masterpiece. Yeah.
Yeah, my perspective is I thought it would be more of like a straight horror, and it was more of an intentional horror comedy, which was sort of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I like when things are just like really bad on accident.
Yeah.
It had a nice fun tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty light, pretty campy.
This is where I wrote down all the stories I wanted to bring up.
Oh boy, did you remember the sheep story?
I did not ask my mom about more sheep stories, but
did you remember?
I had a couple. I remember.
The one
okay,
that you texted me about.
So I had
like,
one that I texted you about because
Yeah.
I was trying to find pictures of sheep, of us with sheep, so I could keep up the nice grid on the Instagram. So I'm gonna post one soon. But yeah, I think it was last summer. I went with my parents to a rodeo that they had, which in general, I didn't know that was like a thing that happened outside of like Wyoming, Texas.
Yeah.
Like it felt very.
Yeah, what? This is just in Illinois?
It travels around. It's like a traveling thing, and
Oh.
everyone travels with it.
Okay.
And then, so we watched like the rodeo part, but how they started off as like it's time for mutton busting. And it's like what? And what that is they get a bunch of big sheep, and then they take a bunch of it's like the kids of all the rodeo cowboys. So it's anywhere from like they start off with like some 6 and 7 year olds, and they're like sort of able to hold on. They put them on the sheep and they got a helmet and they just set them loose in the rodeo ring, and they'll see how long they last. So it's like it's like children's rodeo, but instead of on the bulls, they're on sheep.
Oh.
And then there was like a 3-year-old where it was like that kid can barely stand on his own, and you're gonna put him on a sheep, and the kids would immediately wipe out, and then the other like. All the dads are out there trying to wrangle the sheep afterwards, and the kids like standing up like, whoa.
No.
But yeah, I don't really remember who won, but I have lots of videos of it, and I didn't know that was a thing. But I remember, I think I was texting like Joelle about it, and she's like, yeah, that's how rodeos work.
Imagine like trying to explain that concussion to the pediatrician.
Yeah, sorry, I put my son on a sheep.
Ma'am, he's 4.
Yeah. But yeah, so they had the little boys had the sheep riding, and then the girls, I think there were some boys, but it was mostly girls of like kids that were like teenagers or 20s or something, and they did barrel racing on the horses where they like go around barrels, which I guess that's rodeos.
Never been.
But yeah, I also, what other sheep things? I thought about the sheep that I saw when I went on my big road trip. That we saw sheep in the mountains. That that was all I wanted to see. I mean, I wanted to see lots of other animals, but there were some really good ones. And little babies. And they camouflage so well. So I was like, because I feel like all of the sheep movies we're watching for Sheep June are not American. What would be like an American sheep movie?
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Like if there was an American sheep movie, what would it be?
Yeah, not enough sheep in America. I mean, we toyed with the idea of Silence of the Lambs. I mean, if there was an American sheep movie, we'd probably be doing it instead of this random one.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll have to step up.
We'll have to step up. I mean, I guess there are ones like Is Charlotte's Web American? Like, I feel like there's maybe a sheep that shows up.
Yeah, but it's not a sheep movie.
The only sheep I see are at, like, at county fairs.
Mm.
And it's, like, there's sheep to hang out with.
Yeah.
And they have, like, a sheep contest. But, so maybe that. Maybe, like, a dog show, but sheep.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go to that. I would watch that movie.
Yeah. Well, those are my sheep stories. That was
Should
my
we
sheep stories that I
describe
came up with.
the beautiful baked goods that we attempted
Oh my
to
god,
make?
yeah.
Shall I go get them?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we love to make like weird little snacks. And they always come out so bizarre. And like I'm a decent baker.
I'm not, but
like
are.
Something about the combination of us, like we make the weirdest looking stuff you've ever seen. Like we always do like these little pizzas that look so.
This one I'll fully take.
Yeah, I'll go get them, and you describe the thought process.
Yeah,
when you texted me.
Because we were trying to figure out what time we wanted to record, and I was like, "Oh, time to go grocery shopping." And I told I was like, do you want any snacks to pick up while we watch? And I said that I had a really good idea for a sheep snack. And I did. In my head, I was really like, this is genius. This is an absolutely brilliant idea. I think it's going to be so amazing. These are going to look just like sheep. And we, as soon as we, like, even started thinking about it and making it, it's like, no.
Yeah, because I was like, hey, Sydney, what's going to differentiate? Because if the whole plan is to take Rice Krispie treats, squish them together, and put pretzel legs and eyes on them, what makes this a sheep instead of any other animal with legs and eyes?
And I said, like, kind of a fluffy sheep.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, here's what they look like.
For those of you who are just listening, yeah. For those of you who are just listening, let me describe them to you. It's a ball of Rice Krispie, which we didn't cook properly because they're hard as rocks.
There's only like 4 steps, so we still did it wrong.
And then we did little they're so stuck together. You know, there's little legs. So some of them are standing, some of them kind of have fallen down. And then you've got little eyes. And they're sheep.
They're absolutely not.
They
what
are.
do they look like? Someone said they looked like the facehuggers from Alien.
Yeah. I mean, if we added more legs, it could be like an octopus or a spider.
Yeah, no, it looks so much more like an octopus than a sheep. Because like the head and the body are just one thing. I love when their legs are just like splayed out, like falling down.
They're really.
There's these guys.
We thought it was gonna work, and.
But yeah, they really make me happy.
Those are really, really great, I think.
Best thing we've made yet, to be honest.
Definitely the most. I mean, we've made a lot of things that you can't at all tell what they are. And they don't look at all like the picture.
Yeah.
There was no picture for this. It just came from my mind.
But this one is good because normally it's just like an amorphous shape that doesn't really look like we tried to make anything, but this one it's clearly...
I need you to know that this is not what they looked like in my mind. In my
it's kind of funnier if they did. Like if you had been like, this is exactly what I imagined. That's what it
Even when I look at them now, I'm like, why don't they look like what I'm seeing? But I have no idea how you make what I'm seeing because you can't. I don't think. I'm just picturing a picture of a sheep. And being like, why don't these Rice Krispie blobs look like that? So, you know.
But yeah, these ones are kind of funnier than like the ones that don't look like anything that we've made because it's so clearly you can tell that we tried to make an animal, but it's so unclear what animal it is.
Yeah. We have a couple more segments.
Yes, we do.
Don't Stop the Music. I mean, honestly, there weren't any, like, you know, cool soundtrack choices. It was just kind of like a normal score.
No, I was going to say the score was, like, a little too conventional. Because the movie itself is, like, a little bit zany and kind of self-aware and, like, knows it's, like, pretty wacky. And they could have had a lot more fun doing, like, a weird, like, 80s synth soundtrack or, like, some kind of, like, ironic like pop music or just anything that would play up like the intentional comedy.
If you were to put a song in this, where would you put it and what song would it be?
I would do like a trap remix of Baaaad Black Sheep. Yeah.
I would do
dubstep.
Bride of the Valkyries when they all come over the hill and started killing everyone.
Mm-hmm. Or like Flight of the Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good
Something
too.
like way too dramatic, and then stuff that like isn't really dramatic at all. Because it was all just like regular, vaguely dramatic. Like,
this is barely related. Have you seen the video of elephants listening to like Moonlight Sonata and like
and people like play the violin for them.
Somebody like will go out and play the piano.
Yeah, and
then they like listen.
It's so nice.
I remember we were sitting at like, I think it must have not been the year that you lived at the Cinemanor. But Jeremy was just showing us videos he had seen at some point in his life and put on that, and we watched like a full 20 minutes of just like they're playing for the elephants, and it was so cute. So I don't know what sheep would like. I've seen lots of videos of like there's a guy who has a trombone and he'll be like, let me play this out into the fields, and then all the cows come over and say hello. They
should have just done like I don't know, maybe they could have gone for like metal when the sheep are attacking. You know, like heavy metal is like the recurring theme of like the sheep attack.
Yeah.
Would have been good.
See, this is on my... Well, they could have done, because it's Black Sheep, they could have done like Back in Black, AC/DC.
Or just all Black Sabbath.
Or Black Sabbath, that would be good too. I'm now thinking of this because it was just in the Black Mirror episode I watched. Supermassive Black Hole that they play in Twilight. I don't know where they'd put that. But I feel like that would be a good sheep attack song too.
Yeah. Yeah, boring music for this one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not as fun as Shaun the Sheep, which was so all over the place in such a nice way.
I want to listen to those sheep singing together again.
Yeah. Aw.
Okay. Who would you cast?
Oh, for like a American remake.
Yeah, I feel like that's the question.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I want to see Jack Black.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I think he
would be Angus. Like
I was either that or play up the evil scientist more, and he'd be the scientist.
Yeah, definitely one of the evil guys.
Yeah. I mean, maybe because I was just thinking of New Zealand people. Taika Waititi is somebody.
Mm-hmm. Who would be Henry? He was sort of a boring... Not that boring, but a little bit boring. He could kind of be anyone.
Give me... Who would be really too serious? Like, treated as, like, a really serious action movie. I was like, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Or, like, Matt Damon. Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. And then...
him really scared of sheep, but then...
Oh my god, can we have, like, a Bennifer movie? Where Ben Affleck... Like, present-day Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez is, like, the vegan girl. And that would be a great version of this. With Jack Black, the scientist.
Who would the friend be?
Tucker,
yeah.
I don't know, he didn't do that much.
Or who would Grant be?
Grant sends so much of it as a sheep. Maybe like... Oh god. Oh, like Jeff Goldblum. And he could do like his transformation, like The Fly.
Bill Hader. Oh yeah,
he could be the right vibe for this.
I feel like
just genre all over the place. Like,
I feel like the evil scientist lady should have had a little bit more. Like she just was nothing. Like I feel like either like get rid of her and they all just kind of be scientist lackeys, and the brother is like the evil scientist man with the ideas, or like give her more.
Yeah. More than a pantsuit.
What
more did you ask for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where would you put the train? So... Instead of the sheep driving a truck off the cliff, it drives a train off the cliff.
Maybe, like, instead of the stampede, they could have all boarded, like, a runaway train that could have crashed into the event.
Instead of a taxi taking him, it's a train, and then gets surrounded by sheep still.
Yeah.
And they all try to get on the train.
I feel like this segment is hard to keep fresh because our answer every time is just they get on a train. Like, I don't know when we're gonna have, like, a really interesting answer.
I don't know either. But that's why we gotta have it still, because maybe at some point we will have a really good answer.
You're right.
Okay, how many paws are we rating this?
Ooh, I'd give it like a solid 2 out of 4.
Yeah.
That feels right.
I'd say like 2, maybe 2 and a half.
2.5, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was fun. It didn't
fun.
take itself too seriously, yeah. I think 2.5.
But it wasn't like a bad enough and like fun enough time that I'd rate it higher, or like good enough that I would rate it higher.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like 2.5, somewhere in there. Okay, yay or nay? I've got a bunch.
Oh boy.
Only a couple of them are at all related to this movie because it was hard to find anything about it. But got a lot of sheep facts. Okay.
I can't wait. I hope there's a lot of facts about our movie next week so that we're not just doing more sheep facts.
I hope so. Okay. Yay or nay? The Grant sheep monster is operated by 2 people.
Yeah, yay. I feel like they had one on each side, like puppeting the arms.
Nay.
Oh.
It was 4 people.
Whoa! It wasn't that big.
And guess who a lot of the noises were done by?
The puppeteers.
The director.
That's so funny. Yeah. There were so many good sheep noises. That was a top dog, I would say. Because they would like roar like lions.
They were really angry.
Yeah.
A lot of growling. Okay. This is not a true or false. It's like guess the number. How many sheep appear in the opening wide shots?
Oh boy. Like all of them?
I don't know. This was just a fun fact.
I don't even remember what the... Oh, yeah. The opening... There were a lot. There were like... Mm-hmm. I don't know how many were the same sheep from cut to cut, but I'm going to go with like 500.
Higher.
1,000?
No. Lower.
800.
852 sheep.
Whoa.
So I don't know what exactly that means, but that was on IMDb, and the director apparently said that.
Fantastic.
Okay.
He counted them all by hand.
Yes. Okay. Yay or nay? No animals were harmed in the making of this film.
Oh, I fear the answer. Yay?
Yay. No animals were harmed, but the director, Jonathan King, said, though I must say, there were days where I wanted to. No.
The sheep actors weren't cooperating.
Yeah. Okay, that was all I had about the movie. Now we got a bunch of sheep ones.
Oh boy.
Okay. Yay or nay? With their rectangular pupils, sheep can see 360 degrees.
Nay.
Nay, they can see 270 to 320 degrees.
Yeah, I would say I feel like they can see a lot, but
almost all around.
360 camera.
Not 360, but it's close.
That'd be amazing.
It's almost 360.
They do have rectangular pupils, though.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Apparently, helps them see very. Nice. I don't know. That's okay. Yay or nay? Sensor. Sheep can grow more than 2 horns.
I'm gonna go with yay. Sort of like how we talked about in our pre-recorded episode, how sometimes people have 3 nipples, but it's not the default.
How many do you think they can grow?
Unlimited. Depends on the sheep.
Some breeds can grow 4 or 6.
Wow.
I think they listed 2 or 3 breeds. That'd be so
scary.
Yeah.
Like a ram with 6 horns. That's like a biblically accurate angel. Like, whoa.
Okay. Yay or nay? Sheep can recognize up to 25 sheep faces.
Aww. I'm gonna go with yay. I feel like I've heard this for similar animals like cows and stuff.
It's nay. They can recognize up to 50.
Well,
and they can remember them.
Well, then it's technically true that they can recognize up to 25.
I guess. How long do you think they can remember those faces?
Oh, forever.
Like 2 years.
Oh, okay. That's really cute, though. They can see their friends.
Okay. Yay or nay? Sheep can self-medicate.
This is so what that I'm going to go with yay.
Yay.
What
apparently they use plants and other substances that have no other nutritional value to prevent and treat disease. And they teach their young to
doctors?
do that, I guess.
Sheep doctors?
Sheep doctors.
Wow.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Yay or nay, sheep can be optimistic. Or sheep are optimistic.
Oh, I would go with can be, but not are.
No. Yeah, they can be optimistic or pessimistic.
Wow.
They have complex emotions.
Who is, like, doing this research
and
finding out that a sheep has a pessimistic state of mind?
I have no idea.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Yay or nay, sheep are great at rolling over.
Nay.
Nay.
I feel like they can't get back up.
No, they can't. You gotta roll them back up. Yay or nay? There was a New Zealand sheep who hid for 6 years to not get sheared.
I don't think they would have looked for him for 6 years. So nay.
Yay. I don't know if they found him or just he wandered back. His name was Shrek, and he hid in a cave for 6 years. And then they brought him on live television and sheared him.
They didn't let him win?
No. They said the wool could have made like 30 men's suits or something.
So funny. They should have rewarded him. I guess they get too hot if they don't get sheared,
it was like he can't function. He's stuck in the cave now. Yeah, his name was Shrek. This is the last one. It's not a yay or nay. It's a guess the number again. What % of sheep are gay? A happy Pride question.
Oh, when you were saying this in the yay or nay, I thought you meant that was on the IMDb trivia.
No.
Like some of the sheep in the movie are gay, and I was like, what are they basing off of?
Domestic sheep, what % of them are gay?
12.
It says up to 12, or not up to 12. Yep, up to 8. Prefer other males, even when there are other females around. Because apparently some species, it's like, we're just all hanging out and there's no girls. There's no ladies, sure. But no, they're apparently up to 8%, even when there's ladies around. They're like, nah, I'm good.
Love it.
So, happy Pride to the gay sheep. To the 8% of gay sheep.
Fantastic.
Yeah. That's my last question. I feel like that was a fun one to end on. So.
Yeah.
Grand finale time. Any final thoughts?
Watch this movie. I think we're the only ones who have.
It's another one it's good for friend night.
Good for friend night.
We've yet to find one that isn't good for friend night.
That's true. Everything is good for friend night.
Yeah. I'm curious if the next one we do will be good for friend night.
Yeah, that's a little more of like just a normal, you know, cinema type vibe. Mm-hmm. We'll see. I'm excited for it though.
I am too.
Yeah. Can you guess?
What
it is based on the hints that
this
Sydney
one we did
gave
get
last
guessed.
time?
This one Noah and Avi guessed when they were pre-recording.
Because they also Googled sheep movies.
Yes, and it was like the only one that came up.
It was like the 5th attempt though, because this is the one that people were having trouble getting because it like is barely a movie that anyone has heard of. Someone definitely guessed next week's. Sajin guessed.
Sajin did guess next week. Yeah. Yes.
Good job, Sajin.
I keep guessing. Maybe we'll say you anyway if you guess too before we announce it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that'll be the end of Sheep June.
That'll be it.
That's been such an era. I've had so much fun.
It's okay. We'll have other.
Oh my god! Yeah, we're thinking of comment below your suggestions for other themed months. We thought about Ant September.
Yeah.
Shark Week.
Shark Week is good.
We're gonna do a Halloween series for October, obviously.
And a holiday.
Happy holidays.
That's way better. Yeah. I can't believe we didn't think about that.
I
guess because we were off of
like,
Halloween.
Halloween, and then we were like, wait, what is December? Holidays. And then at like 1 a.m. that night, I was like, why didn't we think of holidays?
Oh, I feel like we've got to do Chicken Run for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, that works. Is it set at Thanksgiving or it's just close to turkey?
No, they're just. I guess they're not turkey.
No, they're not. It's in the title.
You're right.
Turkey Run.
You're right. I just got excited because I saw stuff about Chicken Run too today. So
nice.
Well, follow us on Instagram.
Pawlywood Pawdcast.
I guess that's it. Do we have any another good sign off?
We'll be back. I can't do a good sheep bleat.
Oh, we landed last time with animal noises.
This
so
is going to be a new thing now.
I tried to do this with the dinosaur movies with noises with you and Talia, and nobody would do it with me, and I didn't even do it. So I'm glad we're doing it now.
Okay, can you do a ba? Because I can't. I just get like it comes out as vocal fry. Yeah, right.
Ba.
Okay, that's better than mine.
Ba. I was hoping it was gonna catch on something.
I know. I can't figure out how they do the like the. It's like a baby sheep, I guess. Yeah. Well,
that's a baby sheep. I just keep hoping it's gonna come out right. It's worse every time.
Well, we'll see you next week for the finale of Sheep June.
You
for the finale of Sheep June.
Sheep June.
Goodbye.